Around the ACL, Michelle Thompson here with Trey Ryder and Jake Brannon, coming off of Open number 4 in New Mexico. Had a good time watching it at home. Jake was there along with Corey and Joey. So a lot of great action. We'll talk about, of course, all of our winners from this weekend, and then we're going to get into our power rankings as we get ready for the signature coming up early January. So we'll get into all that. But Trey, I was just wondering how on earth you were able to both watch it and do a regional question mark?
I was doing both. I was like, I'm sitting there and I was like, so I'm streaming the regional for Rock Hill. That's I help out Dusty. I do that, and in the area, and it just so happened to be on an event weekend. And I'm looking, so early in the morning, our numbers are great. Like for a good viewing numbers for a regional is like over 100 people. Like if we get 120 viewers, like that's solid, right? We got people watching, and it helps Dusty on the sponsorship. And then in the afternoon, I look down at one point and I'm like, there are 11 people watching me. And I'm like, why? What is going on? I'm like, why are there? And I was like, I'm an idiot. They're all on the YouTube and Facebook of the ACL watching the Open. And so like, let's go see where it is. So I pull it up. Oh, what do you know? It's like Mark Richards and Colin Hodette in this 39 game, like just absolute battle in the bracket final. I'm like, okay, this makes sense now. So now I'm like, all right, I'm calling the game, and Jake would love this, and Dusty would probably hate me if I admit this, but I'm calling the regional. I have my phone here where I'm also keeping tabs on the Open, right? I'm watching Mark Richards, Colin Hodette, and then I also had the NFL Red Zone and the Ravens losing to the Steelers, right on my
wow. It went straight there.
And so it was great. And then I'm just having a good time with the 12 people that were listening to me.
Did you ask them when on earth they weren't watching the Open, or were they watching both? Because we have questions.
I'm making the assumption that people were watching both or jumping back and forth. I sometimes what I do, if there's two things going on, I'll watch like one, and then if it goes to a commercial break, I'll jump to the other one and do the same thing, jump back and forth. So I'm assuming that was what was happening, but our numbers went up once. I mean, the Open got done before we did. So like, it's funny, as soon as Mark beats Gabe, it's like, oh, our viewers go up to 85 people because there's nothing else to watch. So yeah, no, it was funny.
All right, Jake, any fun Albuquerque stories you got for us?
No, I mean, it was a fun weekend out in Albuquerque. It was cold again. It was weird. I've been to Albuquerque twice, and it has snowed the day I get into town both times out in Albuquerque for some weird reason. I mean, the temperature never got below like 42 degrees the rest of the weekend, but it was a great time. And I've been telling everybody it was the smallest Open of the year. There was only 140 doubles teams. There was only about 95, 96 singles players overall, but for some reason, it was probably the highest quality of games that I have ever seen or called on a live stream in my career, right? Because even though it is smaller, the talent that was out there was through the roof. I mean, 20 of the top 25, 30 players in the world were at this event doing battle. I don't think we had a game on at least on singles under 20, 25 rounds. All of them were fantastic watches. Even the couple of games that were blowouts that had some crazy shots, but every other game was close. It was intense. It was one of the best weekends content wise I have seen. And I told my buddy Joey, who was really broadcasting for the first time ever on an ACL live stream, I was like, you, my friend, are a spoiled little brat with the content and the games that you got to watch this weekend. Because I tell you what, I mean, from the first match down to the last match, that final match between Gabe Clausen and Mark Richards, it was intense. It was really fun to watch. And overall, it was a great weekend out in Albuquerque. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, just because it's small doesn't mean it's mighty. And that's definitely what we saw. I mean, we look at our winners and we'll get into each one of them now, starting with doubles. Mark Richards, Tony Smith. No surprise there. This is becoming a boring storyline, Trey. Thoughts on doubles?
Whoa. Now it's boring. Whoa. That's not what I've been hearing from everybody. All right. All I've been hearing from everybody, the sky is falling. Tony Smith can't play cornhole.
Yeah, no, he
These guys
stinks.
are the best team in the world. Shut your faces now, everybody. All right. Tony Smith, Mark Richards. A tale as old as time. I told everybody not to worry, and you all worried. Okay. Because
Well, you all. Don't you generalize all of us.
I will generalize all of you into the same group to make myself sound smarter. I will absolutely do that, Michelle. You know me. You should know this by now. And
Unbelievable.
I'm so glad you actually brought that up, because that was actually one of the points I was going to make, was that the quality of opponents, right? The quality of games that you called all week. And I totally agree. And when you look at, if anybody was worried, and I don't think really many people were, I'm kind of dramatizing here, but if you really were worried about Mark Richards and Tony Smith, let me alleviate some worry for you here, because in game number one, the first game that they played was the only game all day in which they did not play a pro team. Okay. And when we talk about a signatures, that's what you're going to get. But in opens, this is the perfect ramp up for it. And in that one game, they won 22-0. Right. I'm not going to call out the amateur duo that they beat. There's no need for me to shame them. Right. Then we go into the slew of who they beat. They go on to beat Colin Powers and Richard Nyberg. Richard Nyberg, who Jake Brandon picked to win singles. Again, not a bad pick. It's just simply that's the first team that they had to play. Then they play Spencer Fabianar and Cash Chimness, two open winners, not with each other, but each one of them has already won an open this season. Then they turn around and play Noah Almanza and Jacob Trzynski, another open winner in Jacob Trzynski in the next game. They play Ryan Wiedenfeld and Chris Roybal. You guys know how high I am right now on Ryan Wiedenfeld. Jake, we were going back and forth. He was texting me. He said Ryan Wiedenfeld looks great right now. We were talking in one of the stream chats, talking about how Ryan Wiedenfeld has been all year long. And then in the finals, who do they beat? The consensus number 2 team in the world, Logan Chamberlain and Gavin Conn, 22-15. This wasn't just Mark Richards and Tony Smith limping across the finish line and just kind of willing their way. They honestly went through a gauntlet. Even in a small event, they still beat everybody that they played. The best players in the world that they played against, they still handled effortlessly. And in my mind, they continue to solidify themselves as the best team that we have ever seen in the history of cornhole. They have now won 8 titles in the calendar year of 2025. I might go as far as to say, not only have we never seen anything like that, we might not even see anything like that ever again. And we will look back at the 2025 calendar year as no more titles are available for claiming, as this being the year in which one doubles team won about as many events as you could possibly do in the history of the sport. I love Chamberlain and Kano. I could talk about them. I could talk about how I love Ryan Wiedenfeld and the assertion he's making. I love that Trzynski is playing really, really well. We're getting right into the times of the signature events. Cash Chan and Spencer Fabianar continue to look good. But to me, the story is Richards and Smith continue shut down any type of doubt creeping into people's minds, and they're the best team we've ever seen.
Yeah, and it's fairly different. I think back to these conversations we've had over the years on this show and off, and how we kind of were wondering, well, who is going to be number 1, number 2, number 3? We were kind of throwing around different names. Now it seems solidified, and obviously we'll get into that with our power rankings. But this seems like the first season where it's just obvious, like, oh no, they're going to win it. And we're not wrong. Like, we've said that before. There's times where like Matt Guy is never going to lose, and then he keeps losing the day after we say that. But this is us saying, like, this team is so good, no one can beat them, and then them backing it up. This is a very different feeling than past seasons, and we're just getting started. But yeah, Jake, thoughts on doubles?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, not really too much to add without beating the drum. But Mark and Tony, I mean, it's stupid. It's literally stupid how good they are, how dominant they were. I was looking through rounders. They had one game of rounders where they played Colin Hodette and Ethan Farias, where they won that game 21-19. But if you take that game out of rounders, they did not give up any more than 4 points to a single team in any of the other 5 games of rounders that they played. And they played some good teams in rounders too. And then obviously you go through the bracket, not giving up more than 15 points in a game. They did it twice to Trzynski, to Fabianar and Chamnitz, and then again in the finals to Chamberlain and Kano. I mean, what more do you want us to say? What more do they have to do to prove to you that they are the best team this season and possibly of all time in the American Cornhole League? It is absolutely crazy. And the one team that I think has a slight chance at beating them as the number one team next year, finished second in this bracket. They won the Open last event, and that is Logan Chamberlain and Gavin Cano. These two are quiet. They will not talk to you during the game. They will not give you hardly any facial responses at all. They will just throw bags in the hole. They will beat you down. They will not say sorry. They will not help you up when the game is over. They will spit in your face as they do it. These two are as dangerous and as deadly as it gets. And I think if you put Mark, Tony, Gavin, and Logan on a court and you have them play 100 games, they may tie 50-50. That's how confident I am in this other team from Texas, how good this team I think is going to be. I think it is going to be a dogfight for the top 3 spots this season between Mark, Tony, Logan, and Gavin, Jamie Graham, Jacob Trzynski. I think it is going to be those 3 teams, and I think everybody else pretty much is going to be fighting for 4th for the rest of this season. One of these teams that I think has a very good chance at fighting for 4th is this Ryan Wiedenfeld, Chris Roybal team. This past weekend was the first time we got to see them actually play together, and it looked like as if they had been playing together for years. They were so good. Ryan Wiedenfeld looks so incredibly comfortable with these dragon bags that are in his hand. It is a brand new Ryan Wiedenfeld, and obviously Chris Roybal doing Chris Roybal things. He had a ton of family in attendance out in New Mexico, so he had a big backing all weekend long, as did Wiedenfeld. I think there are big things to come from this team as well. And then looking through, there weren't a ton of other teams that are normal pro doubles partners, right? You had Colin Hodette and Ethan Farias. They're not pro doubles partners. You had Zach Aiken and Gabriel Clausen. They're not pro doubles partners. You had Austin Wasco and Ethan Walker, who stumbled into playing with each other literally 48 hours before doubles began. They're not pro doubles partners, so it was kind of really hard to get a gauge on what the pro doubles landscape is going to look like, at least in the middle of the pack. Besides these top 3 teams of Mark, Tony, Logan, and Gavin, Wiedenfeld, and Roybal, and they just happen to finish 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in pro doubles. So I think obviously at the top you got Mark and Tony and Logan and Gavin in 1-2. But hey, look out for Wiedenfeld and Roybal, man. I'm telling you, Trey said they're high on them. I'm high on them too. I think they have top 5 potential, maybe even sneak in that top 4 or maybe top 3 as well.
Yeah, I was starting to say as we get into singles, which once again is Mark Richards. I think what's scary about both Mark Richards and Tony Smith is as we continue to talk about how good they are, I don't see anything shaking them, right? There's other teams where I feel like if you keep talking them up, they're all of a sudden it's going to be like, oh man, I got this. What makes them even scarier, especially Mark Richards, who's used to being, think about his rookie season, how much we talked about him, how impressive he was, and we haven't stopped, and it hasn't stopped him. And even we'll call a lower season when he was experimenting with the roll bag and backing off of the airmail. Nothing seems to shake him, and that's what showed here as he takes singles down as well for the sweep. Trey, thoughts on singles?
Yeah, I mean, look, Mark Richards, for a second, I thought I was going to see Mark Richards throw a bar of soap to win an event, and I was going to lose my ever-loving mind. And I guess he did throw it, so that's part of the astonishment a little bit for me, but almost completely capitalized. What an ending that was. Look, I mean, I actually was talking with someone else, in the cornhole space, just talking about like, all right, where does luck playing come into it, and where does skill? Where do you draw that line? And to me, get into that final, and you have Gabe Clausen and Mark Richards, I think it's obvious to me, and this will be in my power rankings as well, that I just simply think that Jamie Graham, Gabe Clausen, Mark Richards right now are just like in a tier above everybody else, right? I really do think they're the best players in the world at the moment. And so when I look at a game between Mark Richards and Gabe Clausen, I said right before it started, flip a coin. I have no idea who wins this, right? I don't think it's reflective on anything about who they are as players. And sure enough, it goes to a 21-20, exactly, right, what everybody – it lived up to the hype. And you love when a game does that, right? You just hate when you're like, this is going to be the greatest game ever. It's 21-7. It's not exciting. Like, I found myself a little bit jealous that I didn't get to call a game like that. It was a lot of fun to watch. So Mark Richards, look, 32nd title. It's pretty ridiculous when you think about it in the grand scheme of things. And I don't know if we properly value, what he's doing right now. I mean, if we look at the all-time title list, I'll give you an example. Eric Davis is 6th all-time in titles. All-time. 6th. He has less than half of the titles that Mark Richards does right now. Eric Davis right now has 15 titles, not even half, right? We're getting up to the point now where Mark Richards is borderline doubling up on Tony Smith. Tony Smith has 19 titles. His partner, Mark Richards, has got 32, right? He's still not quite to that to doubling him up, but we're getting close. Another thing to keep in mind as we're, and I didn't mention this in doubles, Tony Smith now 1 title away from tying Matt Guy, right? That's actually kind of an eye-opening, thing when you look at the all-time title list. But anyway, Mark Richards, to me, incredibly impressive, continues to do what everybody expects him to do and is just on pace. The only thing that is going to stop, and this just puts so much pressure on it, but the only thing that is going to stop Mark Richards from becoming the GOAT in everybody's mind is world championships in singles. He is now at the point where I can almost say it doesn't even matter what he does in the signatures. He has so many more titles than everybody else. If he goes out, and I see that face from Jake, I'll put it this way. If he goes out and wins 4 signatures this year and 3 signatures the year after that and 2 signatures the year after that and 4 signatures the year after that, but doesn't win another singles world championship, and maybe Jamie Graham doesn't win this year or next year or the year after, but gets another one. And we're talking about someone that's going to have such an all-time title race versus someone that doesn't have near enough titles, but is consistently at the world championship level delivered. That's going to be the debate still, right? The only way that Mark Richards is going to shut the door on the GOAT debate anytime in the future is he's got to win the world championships, right? And I almost say that because it puts pressure on him, but it should almost be a celebration of how much he has just far and away shown that outside of the world championships, there is nobody that comes anywhere close to what Mark has been able to do over this 5-year span of him being a professional cornhole player. Nobody's come even anywhere close to it. And so, that comes with pressure, but it also comes with celebration as well. Other notes on singles for me, Colin Hodette, man, looks really good. I would call him a shoe-in for like a breakout player of the year, but I almost think that's kind of cheating because he kind of did break out a little bit towards the end of last season. Like, I think he is a really darn good player and is going to deliver at a high level. That roll bag is just deadly, and he is just so good with it. He's so consistent with it. And when you have it with your base slide shot, it's just hard to argue that he can't be that really strong, consistent force. So yeah, a lot of great talent. It's the Mark Richards show, but Gabe Clausen to me is right here and now. Put greatness and history aside, Gabe Clausen is just as good as Mark Richards is, and it's going to be a battle to see who ends up winning more this season.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more there. Jake, thoughts on singles?
Yeah, I mean, and I said it at the start. Some of the highest quality games I have ever called throughout a weekend, and Sunday was the icing on top. Right from the very start, I don't think I ever called a game that was under 25 rounds. And it got to a point where we were like 3 hours into the stream, and I think we had only seen 4, maybe 5 matches because of how long these games are going, how entertaining it was, and I was not upset about it at all. But looking back, after Gabe had won singles, junior singles on Friday, by the way, shout out Gabe Clausen, 4 straight junior singles titles. I don't think we've ever seen anything like that ever. And then Mark and Tony won doubles on Saturday. I said to Joey and Corey both, I said, I'm telling you right now, if Mark and Gabe are in different, because there's going to be 2 singles brackets on Sunday. If Mark and Gabe are in different singles brackets on Sunday, I will guarantee you that they will both win their bracket and we will see them in the finals. And by God, that is exactly what happened, because those 2 were far and away the best players in the building that weekend. It was incredible to watch, right? I feel like I stood for most of the singles match because of the energy, the excitement that was going on, the anticipation. And when I almost tackled Joey to the ground in that second to last round, when Mark decided in his head to go for the bar soap, I literally looked at him. I said, oh my God, he's going to go for this bar soap. And I pushed him and he almost fell over. If he would have hit that, I would have broken the sound barrier. I would have broken the headsets with how loud I was going to get. And then, man, dude, Gabe, so close, had a shot to win it on the last round, had a relatively routine cut around collect for the win, and he just came up an inch and a half short. It was so close. It really could have gone either way. Like Trey said, you flip a coin, and if it lands on heads, Mark wins. If it lands on tails, Gabe wins. I wouldn't have been surprised either way. That's how good these 2 were. The only thing I want to add for singles and I'll ask you guys a question there. Is it possible, though, that the most dominating performance, or I would say the most impressive performance of the day on singles, came from somebody who didn't even win, much less not even win their bracket? How about Logan Chamberlain in his singles bracket through 163 rounds? Over those 163 rounds, he had a 10.99 PPR on the day, a 1/10 of a point shy from an 11 average on the entire day. If you go through the bracket, he did not give up any more than 11 points to anybody, and that was Zane Kratz in the semifinal game. His only 2 losses were to Gabriel Clausen in the winners final and the bracket final. He had wins, which included a 22-7 win over pro partner Gavin Cotto, where he threw an 11.19. He beat Zane Kratz throwing a 10.57. He beat Colin Powers throwing an 11.33, missed 4 bags in that one. Beat one of the greatest amateurs in the country, Espen Jackson, throwing an 11.26. Had a couple other big wins, a shutout win, another 2-point win. In his losses to Gabriel Clausen, he threw a 10.39 and a 10.5. So Logan Chamberlain is very quickly moving up my power rankings in singles. The thing now, he just needs to get over that hump and get the singles win. But far and away, Mark Richards, Gabriel Clausen, 1 and 2 in the building that entire weekend. It was not close. And I don't see either one of them slowing down anytime soon as we head into the first signature. The big thing for me is Gabriel Clausen. I am begging you, if you're listening to this, I am begging you, if you keep winning junior singles, please God, go to every single event until you lose. Once you lose, you can stop playing. I don't care. Just don't come to any of them. But until you lose a junior singles tournament, you have to go. I'm talking everywhere. You're going to Pasco, Washington if you're still going. You're going to La Crosse, Wisconsin if you've still not lost a junior single tournament. I don't care.
Well, it's making my hot take look good. Tell you that much.
Yeah, it is. I was just gonna say it's helping Meesh a little bit. One thing, just to go to Logan Chamberlain, you talked about him. I was looking through the bracket. The difference, and this is just getting real nitpicky, right? The difference between being the 4th best player in the world right now, in my opinion, and the 1st best player in the world is look at the paths of Logan Chamberlain versus Gabriel Clausen. Gabriel Clausen's first game of the day, he throws in the 9s, barely wins. Then he goes on and he wins. He throws a low 10. Then he throws a mid 10, right? By the time he gets all the way to Logan Chamberlain at the end, he's at a high 10. He had one game sprinkled in an 11. The trend for Logan Chamberlain, although the overall statistics were better, was the opposite. Some of Logan Chamberlain's best games of the day were early, and he had his, quote, worst games of the day late. Now, again, let me reiterate, by no means am I saying that Logan Chamberlain didn't play well. I would argue we're trying to split hairs between the difference of the number 1 and number 4 players in the world. If Logan Chamberlain is going to make that jump from 4 to 1, that trend has to change. He has got to finish better than he starts. He's got to have the best ending to a tournament rather than the best beginning. It's splitting hairs, but that's where we are right now, and that's the difference.
I gotta say too, Logan Chamberlain, you and I, we're the same, because in ACL fantasy football, I have the third most points, and I didn't even
she cut
make
out.
playoffs. So look, those wins get across the finish line. I get it. What are you gonna do? All right, moving on to women's seniors and juniors. Women's singles went to Riley Schaff, doubles Sam Finley and Gina Ramirez. Senior singles, Michael Henry, and doubles Steve Schrader and David Clark. And of course, as we said, junior singles, Gabriel Clausen, and junior doubles, Sage Medeiros and Hagen Lords, who, so every week I go through and I look at players to watch, because I'm doing this cornhole fantasy thing, and I got to give people who's playing, or they don't know, right? They don't have the list we have. So I just go through the list of people who are registered. And this time I ranked them by CPI, because I thought, I'm not going to know every player across the world. I don't want to leave people out. And let me tell you, these two names, Sage Medeiros, Hagen Lords, popped up at the very top of that CPI list. And I said, okay, these are players to watch. And Jake, I think you could attest to, those were some players to watch.
Yeah, without a doubt. I got to be honest, I feel like I'm pretty confident in knowing a lot of people around the country in cornhole. I don't think I've ever heard of Sage Medeiros before this week. And I had heard of Hagen Lords. I don't think I've ever actually watched him play, but I mean, these two kids showed out. I mean, Hagen Lords.
They're fake names. These aren't real names.
No, they're not. They're AI generated. No, for sure. No, but the Hagen Lords comes out in the junior singles final that we broadcast. He was down huge to Gabe Clausen, went on a 15-0 run. Next thing we know, he's up 19-17, about to end the streak of Gabe Clausen winning junior singles. Clausen ended up pulling it out in the very end, but I mean, Hagen Lords looked great. He put Gabe in the losers bracket in junior singles. And then I believe Sage Medeiros finished third in junior singles. So these two were great. Sage Medeiros is, I don't know if you guys watched him at all, but he is a exact replica to Tony Smith, looks just like him, throws just like him, and it's actually his twin brother. I'm almost guaranteeing it.
Or a clone. We got to maybe.
Yeah,
it's a clone.
It's a made up name. It probably is Tony Smith.
Yeah, exactly.
The only difference is that Sage was wearing a New York Yankees beanie, and I know for a fact.
Oh, that's definitely not. That's definitely not Tony Smith.
No, that's just how he's fooling us, you guys. See, it's working.
Clever.
No, but these two. I mean, I wish I had more information on them. I know Sage is from Idaho, and Hagen is from Utah. So two states that don't get a lot of representation in the ACL, but these two came out slinging and just smoked everybody to win junior doubles. So big shout out to them. We talked about it already, but Gabe Clausen winning junior singles is just something of what we've come to see already. So nothing surprised about that. Riley Schaff taking down women's singles. She looked really, really good. Defeated Gina Ramirez in the finals. Gina Ramirez had a ton of family in attendance. Obviously, I mentioned that with Chris Roybal, and I think that helped her a lot along the way, especially with her and Sam Finley in women's doubles getting that win. So I'm glad to see them get on their track as they look towards the first signature of the season, both of them as well. The really funny part for me was Steve Schrader and David Clark, because I talked to Steve before the day. I said, "Are you playing senior doubles?" And he said, "No, I'm probably just going to go." Let me do my Steve Schrader. He said, "Oh no, I'm probably just going to go to the casino afterwards because I don't have a senior doubles partner." And the next thing I know, apparently somebody came up to the desk asking for a senior doubles partner, and Steve said, "Okay, oh yeah, you betcha, I'll play with you, and we'll just run senior doubles and see what happens." And next thing I know, they ended up winning the whole thing, senior doubles. So two dudes who've never met each other partnered up 30 minutes before it started, and they won the whole freaking thing. And then they went to the casino afterwards. That's what Steve Schrader told me. So shout out to David Clark, Steve Schrader winning senior doubles, and Michael Henry, probably the buffest senior you'll ever see in your life, winning senior singles, just culminating it all. What a Friday it was.
Steve Schrader, the Wisconsin leprechaun, as Jake would impersonate.
No, that impression is uncanny.
In my defense, it sounded a lot better in my head, and then it actually started coming out, and it.
There was bits of it. I said a Wisconsin leprechaun. There was like, it's there, but there was some Irish throw in there.
From.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Well, we mentioned how Gabe Clausen is taking down all those juniors titles. Tony Forbes did something similar. I don't remember how many he got, but I know he was rattling off some wins as well. But Gabe definitely about to do something pretty phenomenal. But Trey, any other additional thoughts as we wrap up women's, seniors, and juniors?
Yeah. On the women's side, look, finally someone that wasn't Riley Schaff and Caitlin Allshouse wins in women's doubles. They just went on a fantastic run, sets them up in great position for the signature season. So excited to see how they continue to roll through there. But Riley Schaff able to get it done in singles again. I think Riley Schaff had last year, was able to kind of somewhat go under the radar and then had a really good peak towards the end of the season. I was worried about coming into the new season if she would be able to live up to those same level of expectations that they're coming off a world championship. Sometimes you have those little sophomore slump moments. So far, completely passing with flying colors. Riley Schaff playing like one of the best women in the world right now. And so it's her, it's Sam Finley, it's Caitlin Allshouse. There's a number of them right there real close, and excited to see if she can continue that momentum.
Moving into our power rankings, the way this is going to run is we're going to start at number 10. We're each going to list off who we chose and walk our way all the way to number 1. All right. Trey, we're going to kick it off with you. Who do you have for singles number 10?
Singles number 10. I have someone that looks really good. I keep talking about him, and I'm going to force him in my top 10, and I still think the numbers justify it. He's looking really good right now. I'm going to go Ryan Wiedenfeld at number 10 in my singles power ranking.
I like it. Jake, who you got?
I went with somebody who's had a couple good singles runs already, but I think he could do better. But I went with Spencer Fabianar as my number 10 spot.
All right. And I put Zach Aiken at number 10. I got to say, getting down to, these last spots, 8 through 15, it's really, really difficult to kind of slot who you're going to put where. But I didn't ask you guys this, but in terms of how you created your power rankings, what I did was I'm really liking this CPI stat. So I ranked everybody by CPI. And then, of course, I didn't go off of straight what it said 1 through 10, but I did use this to kind of weigh heavily who I selected. All right, Trey, you got number 9.
It turns out really well like that. I didn't have either one of your number 10s in my top 10. Zach Aiken was my first to make angry, as I like to put it. So number 11 is the angriest because you're the most deserving of the top 10 that's not in the top 10. So Zach Aiken's my angriest right there. Number 9, it was really close. I didn't have them in there. And then I looked back through the finishes and sneaky good finishes. And I'm already going to make them angry because foreshadowing, I don't have them in my doubles top 10, which is going to make them very angry. I have Sammy Soto at number 9.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Jake?
Yeah, I will preface this whole thing by saying my entire power rankings, I didn't really use CPI. I based the majority of this off of finishes so far this season. With that being said, number 9, he's a player who has already won an Open this year, but the rest of his finishes haven't really stacked up that high to make me put him higher. I have Cash Shamness as my number 9.
I also have Cash Chamness at my number 9, and I did have Sammy Soto in my top 10, and I moved him out, so he will be the angriest with me.
Great, he's gonna hate all of us. I don't think he's in my top 10 either.
Oh no, that's okay. Something to prove.
I had him at 9. I got us covered.
Yeah, but I agree with you, Jake. Cash with that win and just what he's been able to do. He's shown us that he can finish and get all the way through a field and playing really top players. And then, of course, he's had those long games with Mark Richards and Zach Aiken, and really impressive. All right, number 8. Who you got, Trey?
Yeah, another player that's consistently like hasn't had a first or a second place just yet, but it's kind of right there always to the end. We know they're going to deliver, right? It's just a question is can they take the next jump to be a top 3, top 5 player in the world? I got Gavin Cano at 8.
Okay, Jake.
My number 8 is somebody Trey already mentioned. I was blown away with his performances last weekend. I have Ryan Wiedenfeld as my number 8.
All right, and at number 8, I have Colin Hodette. Going on to number 7, who you got, Trey?
Yeah, I'll take it right from there, Meesh. I got Colin Hodette right at 7. I think that's the place he's going to be. I think he's got upside to go higher on this list. I have him comfortably at 7. I'm waiting for him to get a win. If he were to get a win, if he had won this weekend, I would have gone crazy. I might have put him at 3rd, right? I mean, that's how much I think I just need him to finish an event. That's what I'm waiting on. I don't need the consistency. He's shown the consistency. I just need the big finish. But I got Hodette at 7.
Jake?
Yeah, I'm kind of just copying Trey a little bit, but a couple spots forward. For my number 7, he's a guy who has a couple of top 5 finishes at Opens already. I have Gavin Cano as my number 7.
And at number 7, I have Jacob Trzynski. And, you guys mentioned Gavin Cano kind of a lower slot. I moved him up, so I'm definitely interested to see how the rest of yours finishes. But let's move on to number 6.
Yeah, number 6. You guys not as high on Chamness, but I am going to put Cash Chamness at number 6. Already have a win this season for me. If you get extra value by winning an event. Now, of those that have already won an event, as you'll see, he's the lowest on that because he has had a finish or two that has been farther in the rankings. But when you have someone that has now shown that they can go to a 50-round battle twice within a couple months, he can do it in the finals. He can have really, really strong upside. I really think Cash Chamness will be right there in the top 10 throughout the year. Will he finish? I don't know, but I got him at number 6.
Jake?
My number 6 is somebody who has been to 3 of the 4 Opens so far and has not finished worse than 4th in his bracket, including a bracket final. I have Gage Landis as my number 6.
And at number 6, I have Tony Smith.
What's that face for, Trey?
I don't have either one of your 6s in my top 10.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, Gage was not number 11, but he was very close. Tony Smith, he doesn't want it yet. He's gonna have to earn. Let him win all the doubles events, and then when he's ready to win a singles event, we can talk. So he can sit at 15 right now or wherever.
15. All right. Well, moving into our top 5. Who do you have at 5, Trey?
Another Open winner, someone already named him in their list. I got Jacob Trzynski. Really like the consistency that he's playing with right now, and he's laser focused. He's going to be tough to beat. He really just has to avoid really tacky bags. If he avoids that and he end up too far left on his little cut rolls and everything like that, that's when he gets in trouble. If he avoids that, he's going to be one of the best in the building.
Jake?
My number 5 and my number 4, I kept debating with myself whether I should switch these two or not. I ended up putting him at number 5 because my number 4 has one better finish. My number 5 is Logan Chamberlain.
Wow.
Okay. I'm interested. My number 5 is Gavin Cano. Like I said, you guys had him lower in your list. I think Gavin is always right there at the end. I'm moving on to number 4, Trey.
Yeah, number 4, you heard me talk about who my top 3 are and how someone was just on the fringe there. So you know who my number 4 is. It's Logan Chamberlain. I have one spot above. I think he is and has the potential to be the best player in the world. Minor tweaks in order to get there. He's just below the top tier of the best players right now. He's completely reshaped his mental game. I think it's put him in a position to be successful.
Jake?
My number 4, I'm actually kind of astonished that neither of you two have this man in your top 10. My number 4 is Ethan Walker. I mean, he has a overall Open bracket final appearance, just came up just short a couple weeks ago. Ethan Walker. I mean, I think he's a top 5 player right now.
Yeah, and we talked about this a little bit before we started. Like I said, I ranked everything by CPI, and his CPI was, I think number 19 or 20. And so when I was looking at a top 10, he just wasn't really close to the top there. But my number 4 is the same as Trey at Logan Chamberlain. And here's where I think things might be a little less interesting when we get into the top 3, but maybe jumbled around a little bit. Who you got at 3, Trey?
I have the world champion, Jamie Graham, at 3. The only reason he's at 3 is just simply because hasn't been as consistent at the open level as these other guys. This is a power ranking, maybe not the best, resume or anything like that. Look, the other 2 players ahead of him have objectively been better of the first few opens of this season, but Jamie Graham can go into any building at any time and win any event.
Jake?
Yeah, I want to preface this. When I wrote this down, I want to just let it be known that there is a significant gap between 4 through 10 and 3 through 1 right here. But my number 3, I fought with this for a while too. I ended up going with Gabriel Clausen at my 3, just because, he doesn't have that open singles win just yet. He's very, very close. I think he is the top 3 player in the country. I think you can interchange any of these 3, but Gabriel Clausen has my 3 for right now.
I also put Gabriel Clausen at number 3 for the very same reason. And now let's see number 2, Trey.
Number 2, it was a battle between this weekend, and I don't think the result this weekend had too much of an influence. But right now, Mark Richards is on a different level, so I have to go with Gabe Clausen at number 2. Jake?
Yeah, I have Jamie Graham at number 2, just slightly ahead of Gabriel Clausen, but Jamie Graham, he has an open doubles win with Ethan Walker this season. I think you're going to see him perform very well in Myrtle Beach at the first signature when he actually starts carrying. Jamie Graham at number 2.
And at number 2, I actually have Mark Richards.
Whoa.
And the reason why is because when you looked at the CPI, Jamie Graham's CPI is 11.25. No one's even close to that. I just can't ignore the stat. So that makes me choose Jamie Graham as my number 1. Trey, your number 1 is?
Yeah, Mark Richards, easy.
Mark Richards, easy. And Jake?
Cody Henderson, my number 1.
Nailed it.
Mark Richards, it's not close.
All right, here's where we're differing. So excited. All right. We're going to have to move a little bit quicker through doubles. Let's start off with number 10. Trey, who you got at number 10?
Yeah, first team I'm going to tick off there should have been number 11 is Colby Shear and Sammy Soto. I don't have them in my top 10, but I am going – this one was tough. I went Alex Rawls and Derek Holland at 10.
Okay. Jake?
Guys, I may have messed up. I don't have Holland and Rawls in my top 10. I may have messed that up.
I went through it. Trust me, Jake, I went through it, and then I was like, okay, I'm going through the team names, and I saw Rawls and Holland. I'm like, I got to find a spot for these guys. So
I guess I'll put them as my 11.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
My number 10 right now, I could have put them higher, but, I only saw them play once. They did end up winning. I have Tony Forbes and Spencer Fabianar as my number 10.
Whoa. Okay, I have them much higher, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
Number 10, I have Chris Kingsbury and Jordan Power. So interested to see if they're in your guys' top 10. Number 9, who you got, Trey?
Yeah, I don't have either. I don't have those guys.
Nope.
Someone that has had one strong finish, but haven't seen them gel yet, but they'll be there. I want to keep them in the top 10 based on a single finish they had. I got Devin Harbaugh and AJ Sims.
Same. I also have them at number 9. Jake?
I have these guys this low just because they've only played with each other once. I want to see them play more. I do have Chris Roybal and Ryan Wiedenfeld at my number 9.
Okay, moving on to number 8. Who you got, Trey?
Yeah, I got no Wiedenfeld and Roybal in mine. Number 8, I fought. I was like, I wanted to put them higher, but I could not find anybody that I wanted to move out of the way. I got Ethan Walker and Dave Morse at 8.
Okay. Jake?
Trying to write your guys' list down as I'm also going. My number 8, I do have Sammy Soto and Colby Shear. I think they're going to have great chemistry this season. Same bags. I think they're going to be good.
I got Justin Burton Jr. and Cash Chamness. I know we haven't seen much from JBJ yet, but when they did play, they did very well. So I have high hopes for that team. Number 7, Trey.
Yeah, number 7, another team. I just couldn't pull anybody away. I went back and forth between 7 and 6. With 7, I ended up going Colin Hodette and Gage Landis at 7.
Jake?
My number 7, I do have David Morse and Ethan Walker as my number 7 team.
Yeah, I didn't have them in my top 10. They would be number 11, though. They're right there. I have Chris Roybal and Ryan Wiedenfeld at my number 7. Number 6, what you got, Trey?
Meesh, you already went Cash Chamness and Justin Burton Jr. Might be a little high. They haven't played a ton, but I liked what I saw when I saw them play together, so I got to keep them in the top 5.
Can't deny it.
Sorry, 6.
Yeah,
I'm going over to another new pro team. I like Jackson Gore and Zach Aiken as my 6.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I don't have them in my top 10.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know. What are you gonna do? I at number 6 have Alex Rawls and Derek Holland. Definitely hard to deny that team. I like a team that stays together over time as well. Getting into the top 5, who you got?
Yeah, number 5, I got Zach Aiken and Jack Gore. So I'm following suit with you, Michelle.
That was Jake's.
Or Jake, sorry.
Yep.
Trey and I just flip-flopped. I have Colin Hodette and Gage Landis at my 5.
That's what I have at number 5 as well. Colin Hodette, Gage Landis, number 5. Number 4, Trey. I am very curious to see what Jake has because my number 4, he put way low.
Yeah. I'm gonna make you get even crazier. I got number 4, Jamie Graham and Jacob Trzynski.
Whoa. Okay.
What?
I mean, that's
look. I think all right. Here's the thing. An incredible team. There's something there in chemistry that's odd. And it might be the difference between them winning events and them coming in a lot of seconds and thirds. Okay. So there's just something that I don't love. And when I talk about my number 3 team, it's the complete opposite. I'll get there in a second.
Okay. So we're flip-flop then, our 3 and 4.
Yeah.
I can tell. Okay, Jake.
My number 3 team, it's a new team this year. I'm really excited to see them do battle with each other. I have Austin Wasco and Eric Davis.
Wow.
Whoa. Yep. I didn't have them anywhere near. They were your number 3
in
or
my
number
top
4?
10.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're my number 4. Sorry. No, number 4.
Okay, number 4.
Sorry.
They're not. I wouldn't have had them top 15.
Okay.
Crazy. Number 4, Spencer Fabianar and Tony Forbes. I have it 4, and that's because I did put Jamie Graham and Jacob Trzynski at number 3. It sounds like, Trey, you have it flipped.
Yeah, I got Forbes and Fabianar at 3. Yikes. Watch out. Pressure's on, buddy.
They can do it. Jake, who you got at 3?
I guess I'll go pretty chalk then. I do have Graham and Trzynski as my 3. I think the season they had last year, it's hard not to put them in the top 3.
Okay, so then here's the thing. Did everybody put Logan and Gavin at 2 and Mark and Tony at 1? Jake did not.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I think I flipped them. I have Mark and Tony at my 2, Logan and Gavin at my 1, solely because as soon as they announced their partnership, I wanted to be different, but as soon as I announced they announced their partnership, I said this will be the number 1 team in the world, and I don't want to backtrack now.
That's fair.
Happens,
okay.
I'm going to keep with it. I think they are going to be great. When we talked about it in doubles, I said I think if they played 100 times, they would tie 50-50. I am absolutely okay with putting them over Mark and Tony. They both have
100 times. If they played 100 times, they'd win 40.
No.
Yeah, I'd agree with Trey on that. I totally agree.
They both have an open win. They're tied on the season so far.
Okay, well.
Mark Richards would gladly throw 10,000 bags in a row, and everybody else would get bored by then. So
it's very true. It's quite the advantage, his patience, I must say. I don't have it either. I wouldn't be able to hang in there for that many rounds if I had that talent. All right, we got hot takes, and Trey, Jake and I talked before we started. We're using the hot take that we were asked to create, so this is kind of a season hot take, but you can go whatever route you'd like.
Yeah, I'll do the same then. Ryan Wienfeld wins a signature in singles and makes the Final Four of the Pro Singles World Championship.
Ooh, I like that one.
I love it.
Jake?
I went a little broader with my hot takes. I said that out of the signatures, there will be 6 different pro singles winners at the signatures. However, in pro doubles, there will be no more than 3 different winners in pro doubles.
So Mark Richards, Jamie Graham, Mark Richards, Jamie Graham, Mark Richards, Jamie Graham. That's still some repeats in there. So.
Oh, okay. Mine is spicy because this is a team that we're not even talking about, like nobody's radar, and had some stuff going on. And I'm going to go out on a massive limb, I think, and say Ryan and Mason Trader make top 20. What have they been doing?
Yeah, I don't even know. Is Mason Trader throwing with his right hand yet? Or his right?
Hey, I saw something on socials. They're throwing, so I'm gonna go with it, and hopefully they make me look really smart because obviously they have the talent. So we're gonna see how the season goes, but that is all we have time for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you all next time.